Boop. What's that on your face, Matthew?
A look of
It's gay.
disgust.
It's gay.
Uh,
Welcome to Truckstop Boyfriend, our Pride Month spectacular episode, and we're officially back.
and we're officially gay, right?
Well, we had been gay, but we were on our sabbatical,
Yeah.
and we're back now. Our extended break.
So what hetero stuff
Um,
did you do on our sabbatical?
I did get married to a woman and fully divorced.
Okay, I was going to ask where the ring was at, but
Well, I kept the ring because gay, but um, I got rid of her real quick. What'd you
I,
do?
I was wondering where you went. You were kind of silent. I would try to call you, and it went straight to voicemail.
I was dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
I had to unlearn and undiscover myself to go back into the closet to marry her to then realize I was doing it right all along. Then I had to get a divorce. And now we're back in Truck Stop Boyfriend, back where we started.
The truck stops for everyone. You can just pull up and go in, get what you need. You might even find something that you didn't know that you need at the truck stop. You'll find who you are before you hit the road to continue your
Yeah.
journey.
You might find a whole woman in there named Ashley Green. Get married to her.
Oh, who
And
is
then have to
Ashley
start.
Green?
This is the girl I just made up.
Oh, okay. I
The
was
stupid
really
story I'm
concerned.
telling. No, I'll take it. I'll take it home. I'll commit to the story.
You went on. That's
I'll keep
funny.
going. So yeah, no, none of that happened. It was a lie. So we're starting off Pride Month with a lie, which, being in the closet is a lie. And here we are, bringing it right back to where we started, and we'll continue to go. I see that you've actually taken a turn to be heterosexual in this outfit today.
What, little old me?
Little old me with my Bassett and hat on. No, I actually like it. It's cute.
Well, I do like going fishing.
We know.
Fishing for
Fishing for,
men.
yeah, I was going to say the
Listen,
D
in
word, but
in Nashville, it is like fishing, okay? Let me tell you right now.
oh, I know.
It's like you keep putting your
Period.
we gotta
Y'all
stop.
already know.
We gotta stop.
Okay, work. Let's just go for it. Let's swing for the fences, right?
I mean, we could. I'm going through I'm going I think it's honestly my um I'm going through my midlife crisis or quarter life crisis rather.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Are you
just
okay?
I just have this feeling of like I'm single. It's like I'm 28. I have like 2 years left to get my shit together.
It's
Who do
all
I
over
want?
from there.
No, it's not even that. It's just like who do I want to be from like this moment on? Because I'm like thinking to myself, well, I don't even really care about who I am right now. So how do I get to where I want to be? You know what I mean? And
Sure.
so I think this person that I'm like growing into is like a hardcore metal, like
Love
tattooed,
that.
like
I love this
daddy, I
journey.
guess.
Work. I love this journey. I support this journey. I'm very much that adjacent, so we're
Except
here for that.
no tattoos.
No tattoos, very
Oh,
Christ-like. I do like to keep it very Christ-like,
okay.
because I'm very pure.
Mm.
But I do. Your Saturn's returning, Matthew.
I don't.
That's
I
what
don't.
28 is.
I do think that um sounds like something like horoscope stuff, and I don't know anything about it. So
I
you
don't really
can
care either.
maybe inform us, but
Well, I'm sure that, some of our listeners are very into it all, but I'm just gonna be real transparent. I could really care less.
Mm.
Um, but I do agree with, the Saturn returning because I think it's just what it, is defined like in your plane of life, I guess. But
Yeah.
28, 29 is when a lot of things start to realign. And I think with what you're touching on, I went through as well. And I like kind of, you're almost shedding your child self completely.
Yeah, I'm
And
about to cut
you're,
the mullet off. I'm done.
uh-huh, you're
I'm
done.
done.
I mean, you're just, you're planting what you need for yourself in the front of like what you're doing every day and making it very important that you're really going for what you want instead of kind of like what other people are perceiving you as or what you think you need to be putting out into the world. You kind of like are starting to like fall into this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what I want for myself, what I want for my future. And I think like, a good example was me being in New York and I was like, I can't be here anymore. It's not what I want. I don't want to be around. I love New York, but I don't want to be around this type of environment anymore. I want to
Yeah.
be in a space that I want to be in. I want to have my home life look a certain way. I want my work life to look a certain way. And just basically putting everything into that basket and making it align for myself. And that's kind of what the Saturn return speaks to a little bit is making things look how you want them to look and lining things up for that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like that's part of it for sure. I also think that, like, with it being Pride
Sure.
Month, like, I think that that has a lot to do with it too. Of like, coming from the South, I'm sure that you've had some trauma revolved around
Oh
Pride a
yeah.
little bit. Um, So I'm like getting back into that a little bit too and digging up. I feel like every pride, it's almost like a birthday, honestly. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like every time that it comes around, I'm like dealing with like an extra layer that I didn't know that I had left. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like shedding it a little bit more, you know?
Sure. I
So
get that, and I think I've been very, fortunate to live where I do live for a lot of almost peak pride times in history, I feel like. I feel like probably from 20, maybe 2018 through barely the end of last year, Pride was this like whole moment. It was like kind of left alone. We could do what we wanted to for June. It didn't really like things didn't interfere with it. I mean, as much as, you know, a lot of the gays hate to say that they're hating big corporations getting involved and, things changing, but we had very outright privileges during those years. And
yeah.
companies wanted to back us, and sure, they're profiting off the community, whatever, I get it. But I mean, I live in California and I just went to Target to get a gift for my nephew for his birthday, and the stores by my house don't even have Pride anymore
Yeah. Yeah,
categories.
I think there was like a big thing last year, right, about Pride, like about the
Yeah,
Pride merch.
yeah, and like Target didn't put it into, it was only in select stores this year, which,
Mm,
whatever. But for me to live literally in Los Angeles and
yeah,
one of the stores who didn't get the selection was mine,
yeah,
I mean, I'd still rather go there and just have the visibility available than not have it available, even in Los Angeles. So I think everybody can say what they want to about Pride, and I'd rather support small queer business more than anything. But I do enjoy taking a moment for us, even if it
yeah.
is with, big corporations and whatever. Like, I like having the option if I want it.
No, I
But
agree. Like, I think I get what people in our community were saying before about like, you should be buying from local LGBTQ artists and stuff
for
like
sure.
that. But I feel like it's so hard to find that sometimes too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, yeah, you're also touching on something that, you watch shows like We're Here, Queer Eye, and they're going out to these very rural areas in the
Yeah.
US. And sometimes all there is a Target Pride section.
Yeah.
And there isn't accessibility, there isn't availability for people out there who, they don't want to leave their home. That's where they're from. I think that
Yeah.
that's what the fight is all about at the end of the day. It's like, I'm very fortunate, and you are even as well, living in an urban city. Um, Granted, it's still in Tennessee, but uh, I mean, I had a lot of fun when I lived in Nashville and was a gay person. Like, we grew up in the gay scene in Nashville, and we met all kinds of people and met all the famous drag queens. And I mean, Play is such a revered drag bar in the US,
Yeah. Hmm.
and that was our reality. We got to go there. I mean, God, we went there 5 days a week sometimes, like we were there every single day. And that was like our upbringing in the community. But
And for the people that are concerned, I'm not an alcoholic. That was actually at the age that I could not drink. We were just going literally to dance and watch the drag and look at
just those
guys.
two things,
Yeah.
just those two things. Yeah. Nothing else, completely Christ-like, very pure. And that's why I still don't have any tattoos to this day.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, back to
Do
the serious note
you,
because pride is important.
yes, which that leads me to the next question.
Go ahead.
What is your like earliest pride memory?
Earliest pride
Back
memory.
in the
I mean,
day when you were born in 1994, 3?
well, so are you asking like pride memory or like just gay memory?
I would say more so like I would say like self pride almost. Like you like
Sure.
come into an understanding with yourself and maybe even not understanding but just like acknowledging and
Yeah.
accepting who you are.
I think for me, and I think that, you could probably relate to this and a lot of Southern people in general, it was scary, like coming to terms with like me being gay and literally being like, I remember having the thought, I don't remember what age, probably like, teens somewhere, but having the thought, oh my God, I think I'm gay,
Yeah.
and being terrified of it. Like being absolutely terrified. I'm like, oh my God, I need to do everything I can to get rid of this. Like, this can't be me. I don't want this. I cannot believe I even said that word. Like being just completely scared of me even saying that word about myself terrified me.
Yeah.
I would like literally try to pray the gay away all the time, like
If
every
I
night
heard
before
it
I went
like
to
on a
bed.
TV show, like if we heard it on a
Ah,
TV show, like yeah, like felt uncomfortable, yeah.
yeah. And then, I mean, I would even, again, I'd pray the gay away. I'd pray to like girls again, like just anything I could do just to, you know, get back to my normal or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever was being thrown at me. But then I also remember, I grew up on the television. Like, I love TV. I still love TV. I love reality television. I love anything television, media, pop culture. I'm very a part of that. I love it. I think that's also very gay. But also, I think it's a gay thing to be from like rural country and media being your only, outlet to like anything bigger than your
Oh
small
yeah.
town, essentially.
Yeah.
And like for me, I soaked it all up. I couldn't believe, like I was so excited to like see anything different, anything like weird and crazy and whatever. But I think some of my earlier gay memories was watching like, I don't even remember the person's name, but like he was on the Real World, and when that show was still around. And then even you remember that show Next,
I think
where
so. I
they,
definitely, I definitely watched some of Real World,
yeah,
but I feel like my like reality TV show moment was definitely like Jersey Shore. That's what I was like sneaking and watching every night after
sure.
everyone
I
went to
think we,
bed.
I think we all were low key.
Yeah.
That whole thing. I mean, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like maybe queer people or queer
Yeah.
representation on
Hmm.
TV uh, was some I can't remember his name, a guy on the Real World, and then the stupid little Next show where they would like persons on the bus and they would like go stand there and someone would meet them and they'd be like next or whatever,
Oh,
just like
okay. Yeah,
that
yeah.
quick
It was like a
dating
dating
or
show.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I do
and
remember
just
that.
and even though it was catty, but there was queer people on there, and the queer people were always the worst on there too. They're always too quick and totally materialistic and very judgmental, and but
What
we're
are you
also here for
trying to
good
say?
TV. I mean, we're doing it right now. Yeah, yeah. Where the gays know how to make good TV.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
feel
I
you.
think, and I even remember when I got a little bit older and into high school and mainly into college, but then Drag Race was on its steady incline, and I would just I never and I think I probably maybe snuck around and watched a couple of those episodes, but I never got anywhere like hooked on it until I was deep into college.
Mm,
Because I remember being like, "Oh, I can't watch that. I can't watch that." But I knew exactly who RuPaul was because of just being glued to the television all the time.
yeah, no, that makes sense.
But yeah, I remember. I think I didn't even start watching Drag Race until after I started going to play in
Mm.
Nashville a lot more.
So, was there a moment that like you like finally like accept or like maybe like learn to like accept yourself? Because clearly, like you mentioned before, like you like had those moments of like praying the gay away, or
Sure.
like trying to hide to like learn about
Yeah,
yourself and
I think even like when we became friends in those earlier times where I was like more out, I was still very unsure of myself and who I was and like what I wanted and how I wanted, to date because I had never had any representation. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what the expectation was,
yeah,
and I still don't. I still very much struggle with like how that's supposed to look.
yeah,
But I think like I remember blatantly when I was like, fuck this. I'm done trying to hide. Like, this is who I am. I'm just trying to put this off for too long. And I was in the car with my friend Caroline, and I don't remember what we were doing. I think we actually went, I don't remember what we did, but we were out. We had a little drinks, but I was finally just like in the car. I'm done. This is who I am. She was the first person I ever like confided in and told. But she knew from the jump because she was always like, if you need to tell me anything, I'm safe and she doesn't talk like this at all, by the way. Um, but she was always very reassuring and loving and open.
we
So
love Caroline.
we do love Caroline. She's bestie outside of you, of course.
Oh, don't lie. I feel like for me, I mean, which our first pride, or well, at least my first pride that I
Please
knew
tell me because
you,
I don't remember.
I don't. It was 2018, and that's when like gay marriage became like fully legal. So that was like a really big like pride to like be like my first pride, you know?
But I don't think I was there.
So I was with like a different group of friends, which is like weird to say because I don't like have like a lot of like local gay friends here, I feel like, So
Sure.
um but I think I was with like a small like posse of people.
Hmm.
Um but I think that it was someone that I like went to college with, um and some of his friends really. I think that was it. So I just remember like going to all the parties, like going to the festival and everything, and then like seeing that. And I feel like I'm like thinking back now to like how I felt during that time, and it was like still like a very like I'm just here to experience it. You know, like I don't
Sure.
know, like I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know like what it was going to be like. I didn't know like a lot of things even about myself at that time, you know.
Right.
Um I like had ordered, I remember this like um Kelly Kapowski shirt from Saved by the Bell, and I turned it into a cutoff and wore it.
Of course.
Iconic, iconic.
All the gays love to cut everything up for pride.
Right. Um yeah. So that's the only expectation that I had, was I'm going to look great.
I love that. Put your best foot
Um
forward.
but yeah, I feel like you went out with me after though, because I went to the festival with that other group of friends, and then we went to play. And
Okay.
um of course that was the only place that I could get into. And I feel
I
like they
mean,
had like
yeah.
some like street party situation. Um and then I just remember like everyone like being so like happy and celebrating, and like even the drag queens up on stage like saying like, you know, exploding at the announcement that like the equality and like
Hmm.
the gay marriage being legal in all 50 states. So I just
Yeah.
remember that being like such like a big deal, even for me, like, you know, being like a newly out gay person, of being like, okay, wow, like people are okay with us, you know what I mean? Because a
Yeah.
lot of the people that I had come out to, I had a lot of negative, like, kind of response to. Um, so, which I knew, like, coming to Nashville, that I would be able to, like, find a community and to, like, you know, find others who would accept me for who I am. But it was still, like, one of those things, like, when all 50 states it's legal, it makes it seem like, oh wow, like everyone has to be okay with this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you can finally like live your normal life as everybody else.
Yeah,
But I feel like 18, 19, and 20 were like kind of the sweet spots for, outside of COVID during 20, but
yeah,
the sweet spots for
yeah.
Pride Month and celebrations and stuff. I don't feel, I went to WeHo Pride yesterday,
I saw
and
that.
that's what we did. And it was fun, and I saw the parade. I actually saw Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
she's randomly in the Pride float. I had no idea she was going to be there. But I mean, it's cool, it's nice to see everybody. But that's West Hollywood, California. It's like a whole other planet than what most people get to experience. Um, and it was fun, and we went to this bar called Sir, which is Vanderpump Rules bar. But
Okay.
it was fun, and but it was chill and it was fine, and everybody was doing their thing. But it's definitely a different energy this year
Yeah,
than it has been in other years, and I think they're it's very contained. I feel
yeah.
and that's even coming from West Hollywood, California. So I can't even imagine the
Right.
trickle down into smaller cities and
Hmm.
more rural cities, what they really have to put up with, and
Right.
the workarounds they have to go through. Oh, Pride, the one day of year
Oh, pride,
that you can
can
hear.
you see?
Now that's gonna raise some flags, some Trump flags.
Do you think that this has auto tune?
Yeah, keep going. Did you see that post I posted yesterday?
No.
That shit was funny.
What did you
Just a
post?
picture of Madison Beer Lake, and I said, just to further uh, complicate my lore, I'm a
Oh, you
lesbian.
know, I did see that, and I thought that she's really
So
pretty.
funny.
I had no clue who she was, though.
I'm like kind of obsessed with her. I don't
What's
like
she
any of her
on?
music but that one song.
Oh,
She's
she's a
just a singer.
musician.
She's like a OG Instagram kind of influencer type, but I'm obsessed with that one song and that
Yeah.
video, and I love
Hmm.
it. She's just so good. I think she's
So I've just realized that I'm wearing um, a safari hat today
sure.
instead of a trucker hat, and I think it's because we're getting into the wild. We're like going into the wild to talk about some of these.
Yeah, we are definitely venturing into some new uncharted territory for this podcast. And
Yeah, I literally might cry. You never know.
yeah, I can see that for you.
I get
But we
emotional
are,
very easy.
I don't think I've ever seen you shed one tear.
You've probably heard it over the phone though.
No, I don't think so. Um, what are things you like to cry about?
I don't like to cry.
Some people do.
I
Have you ever
don't.
had, have you ever been so excited that you cried? I
I
have
don't.
before.
I don't think so.
It happened to me a couple times in my life, and it takes a lot to just like just honestly get me going about anything because I'm just so, I think I'm very cynical and very kind of jaded about the world.
I feel like I'm the same way, but I mostly just that's why I get emotional about like sad things.
I don't really have a lot of sad things in my life. I like to surround
Oh,
myself with positivity.
that's nice. Maybe I should move to LA too then.
Yeah, the sun will really do it to you. No, this is so, it's not corny, it's kind of sweet, but at my sister's wedding, my younger sister Brittany's wedding, her and my dad, it was almost like they choreographed this dance together to this song, and it was like kind of like a gag where they started off the father-daughter dance, and it was sweet, and it was like a normal, you know, slow song or whatever, and then like the DJ like spun the deck around, and then it was into this like almost hip hop song, and they had choreographed this like whole moment, and I didn't see it coming, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, and like I got so excited, I almost cried.
Okay, I guess that's like I mean, that's
I thought it was
fair.
sweet.
But do you think that it was that or do you think yeah, do you think that it's because you're excited or was it because like, oh, that's so sweet? Cuz I cry at weddings all the time.
Well, I don't cry for like sad shit normally.
See, like I cry when the girl walks down the aisle.
No, I don't care.
And it's I think it's because
They
like
brought
I
me
know
here.
them. It's either because I know them and I'm emotional that they're getting married or it's because I'm like that's never going to happen to me. So,
I love a good wedding. Definitely if it's someone I'm really close to. But like like a tertiary wedding, like someone like I'm there because of someone else.
mhm.
I'm like, okay, where's the bar? It's so bad. I just like don't really like weddings. I'm so sorry to whoever listens to this and I've been to your wedding. It's really not that, I promise. I get really uncomfortable at weddings. I don't know what it is.
I do too. I'm like very like my
I'm like,
space.
okay, let's get the ceremony, cute, 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 whatever picks, and then, okay, let's open the dance floor up, start the mosh pit,
What weddings have
but
you
then
been to?
I've been to honestly kind of a very wide array.
You went to a hardcore wedding?
It wasn't hardcore like I would want it to be. Well, it wasn't hardcore like that, but it was kind of fun because they had the dance floor, and then they had all the normal kind of dances and whatever that happens at the wedding, but then they had this like whole scene moment toward the end with like all the kids that he went to like high school with, and
I
they
love
started
it.
throwing each other around, and like all time low kind of music. And sorry if that's not the cool band, but I listen to them, so that's what I know in terms of scene music. But it was really fun, and it was cool, and it was like very Paramore-esque. But then they were like having their whole moment of like throwing each other around all over the floor, and like a nice mosh pit. But it was cool.
That sounds fun.
It was very fun. It was like a Mexican Brazilian wedding. It was pretty fun.
Hmm,
We partied
sounds
very
fun.
long, and everybody was turned up.
Hmm.
Shout out Josh and Angelique. Your wedding was lit.
I'm jealous that I didn't get invited.
You should be. This is our Pride episode. We've talked about a bunch of heterosexual weddings so far. And, I really want to take a moment on a serious note with this podcast for a moment. I think that that's us venturing into the wild, hence your bucket hat here. And, I want to talk about, like when we experienced Pride for the first time and, you know, when we kind of came to terms with who we were and what we wanted for ourselves, and when we finally kind of were like, had almost a aha moment with
Yeah.
ourselves. And uh, when was that for you? Like, when do you feel like you were kind of
Mm.
realized who you were or what you were
Well,
needing for
I
yourself?
remember like I kind of like you, like I remember like praying. Like I knew that something was different, growing up. And I think there was like a point in my life that I like really probably did start to realize it. And I was like praying it away and like, praying the gay away. And I was like, I grew up in the church. Like, literally, my parents would take me like every like Sunday morning, Sunday night, like every Wednesday night. Like, I was very involved. And so there came like a point in my life where I would remember like going outside of church. Like, I remember this like very significant moment of just like going to our church had like a little playground area, and one night after church, like I went to the playground area and I just sat on the swings by myself and just like cried and like just
Oh,
like prayed like so hard that like I would not be gay, and that, you know I just had like this image like flash into my mind of like me coming to like a split road. And it's not whether it was like the good versus the wrong. Like that's not what the road was. The road was like me like stepping into like uncharted territory, or like staying in this road or path that like I've just like been like accustomed to, basically,
sure.
And you know I think clearly, like, the path that I knew at that time that I was going to take was the uncharted territory of like finding out who I really am. Um, and that was like a really significant moment for me. I definitely like battled with myself like for many years past that point, like into like middle school and high school. I mean, even today, like, there's moments that I'm like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
battle. But I think for me, like, I when I turned like 18, that was like when I was like, okay, like I'm on my own, like I'm an adult now, like I'm going to like actually find out who I am now. Like I'm going to like step into this road or this path to like figure out like if what I've thought has been happening is actually real or not.
Yeah.
Um and so I don't know, it was definitely a long journey. Still is a journey some days, but
Oh, yeah.
um coming out was not very good for me. As I mentioned before, like I have had like a lot of negative things to that. And for me, like I'm just like the type of person that I see like other people's views. And I try to not like hold that against them. Like I'm like a very like understanding person of like, oh, like they just know this because, or they just feel this way because that's all that they know.
Hmm.
And so, um, it's been hard because like a lot of the people that I love, um and people that I would love to like have know this part of my life, they are not around, um to that extent. Beyond that, coming from that, I was able to really find like a community here in Nashville of,
That's good.
whether it's friends or, even though I went to a Christian college, like I feel like I was able to find like a really good support system there even. of
Yeah.
a group of friends that, really supported me. And I think like, even though I started out on campus as like in the closet, I guess you could say, like, I think they all pretty much knew, because at that point, like, my family had already known. I was just,
Yeah.
um, trying to keep things safe. Um,
Sure.
and so I was like kind of out, kind of not. But, I was lucky to have like a really good support system here. Me and you like going out all the time. And then, like I said, like a lot of college friends, definitely coworkers.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I've really valued like my community with where I work, because I feel like even like working there has really helped me develop like who I am as a person, and like um, a lot of the values that my employer has or that my company has are um, values that I feel like I've been searching for years as well.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like been able to set those values up for me, like
Yeah.
community, diversity, inclusion, because coming from small town rural Kentucky, like I didn't really have those values. I mean, community, yes, but like not really like diversity or
Yeah.
inclusion.
I mean, you didn't have those, you didn't have that available to like be known about.
Right. Like there were no or not no there were no conversations being had about it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I just knew the people in my circle and that was it. I knew the
Yeah.
people that I was in school with. I knew people I was in youth group with, that I went to church with on the regular. But
Yeah.
there was no need to like try to step out of your boundary or out of those walls to like try and
Yeah.
meet anyone else.
Yeah. And there's a couple things I want to touch base that you said because I think they're very important. But to that point that you had last, a lot of, I mean, I remember growing up and being like, why would I need to leave this safe um, area slash everything is here, everything made sense. It was like a circle of daily life that happens.
Right.
But I think that that's the type of, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like almost like white communities in those areas don't, they set things up that way to not allow other people in
Yeah. No, agreed.
and
I totally agree.
different types of communities in
Mm.
because they don't want it to be interrupted or they want it to be safe area. Like anytime I hear safe area, that's to me somebody who's not allowed themselves to ever be in a uncomfortable situation or learn from a different community
Yeah.
or just be a part of something different.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't personally want to be around that.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear safe area or good school district or whatever. Like, it's sure you want those things for maybe raising families or whatever, but you're also depriving that child of an inclusive setting
Yeah.
and a diverse setting.
I mean, when you think about it, like, you know, diversity is one of the greatest parts of community.
Oh yeah,
Everyone comes from different backgrounds, everyone brings something different to the table. Like, that is one of like the core values of community. And so when these
yeah,
communities aren't when they don't have diversity, that's why they're not growing, is
completely.
because they're not allowing anyone else with any other ideas to come in.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that is to their own detriment
yeah,
because that's not how this country operates.
right.
That's how it's not founded that way. And, that's what that's why I feel such a strong sense of like pride
Mm,
and representing, myself now as an adult, but that's what pride is all about. Pride is a safe space for everybody to congregate, literally whatever you believe in.
yeah,
It's, represented and celebrated, and that's what
Yeah.
pride is. It's an open forum, is
Hmm.
how I like to see it. There, if you walk into pride thinking it's one thing, you're mistaken
Right.
because it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want to show pride for. It's whatever you want to showcase that day. I've even taken, this is the women's march that happened in Nashville. I think 2016. I think that's when that was. Uh, we took my dog there, and the women's march was also obviously it was to reclaim women's rights and to showcase our stance for that. But it was also a big kind of pride event as well. And
Mm.
it was, this is a stepping stone to other things, if they're going to take this away or try to rescind these rights, they're going to do it to the next, it's just
Right.
it's stepping stones. And,
Yeah.
even we took our dog there and she, she was just a dog being there, but, it's animal rights. It's
Hmm.
anything, it's down to whatever it needs to be. And, I want to go back to a couple things you said on your, kind of your journey because I think they're important. Definitely being, who you are as a person because if you don't mind me disclosing, you're a single child,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to understand that because you sitting on that swing and having such a profound thought and understanding of kind of what like you're going to end up having to go through at such a
Yeah.
young age is really hard. And I think, and to do that alone,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I mean,
sorry to say it, and to
no,
kind
yeah.
of probably bring back something because I don't want to, make you uncomfortable, but I think it's important to bring up because that's a lot of queer people's reality.
Right.
And I think, with this, what we're doing with this podcast, it's important to shed light into our own situations because we have, with time been able to make it out and,
Right.
being able to get to where we are now. And luckily, we've been able to do it relatively quickly in our lives. And,
Yeah.
you're
Hmm.
pushing 30, I am 30. And there's some people that will never have that sense of freedom, unfortunately. And,
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do is, we're not here to try and push an agenda, only the gay one. But, uh, you know, why not talk about it?
Yeah.
And why not talk about our own stories and try to help other people? But another thing you said is you were able to kind of feel a little bit more free when you turned 18.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you said that because I felt this in my own life and journey or whatever, but birthdays mean something.
Yeah.
You know, there's, when you're sitting on that swing and you're seeing what needs to happen, you can't wait till you're 18
Yeah.
so you can
Right.
finally do something about it
Right.
because you're essentially, you have this mental tie down that happens with anything.
Well, I was a good kid. I wanted
Sure,
to respect my parents and like,
of course.
and I even think like I remember like when I turned 18 and started to like really started my journey, I was like, oh, like I don't know if my parents will ever find out, because like I couldn't picture myself having that conversation with them, you
Oh,
know.
totally. Yeah.
And I just remember like for years like being like, oh, like I really don't know like when is the good time to like have there is no good time. The way that it's
No.
set up for us to have that conversation, there's never a good time.
Yeah, there's
Um
never a good time. It's never going to be planned. You can't I mean, it's it's a
well,
when a
let me
will.
say
It's
this.
just going to happen.
In an unsupportive environment, there's never a good time. In a supportive environment,
Sure.
rather, there anytime is a good time. But, you know, like it's still
Yeah,
hard
that's fair.
nonetheless. You know what I mean? Like it's still hard
Yeah,
nonetheless. Like whether you're coming out in like an unsupportive environment versus like a supportive, like you stepping, taking that step to come out is like going to be super hard. But, um, yeah, like I just remember like being like, oh, like I don't know if they're ever going to know because I couldn't
yeah,
picture myself like actually like having that conversation with them. Um, and it actually wasn't until like I was found on like someone's Instagram. We're not going to get into all the nitty gritty details,
sure.
but
You don't have
that,
to.
you know, my family came, or that I had to come out to my family. And, you know, like that time was like so difficult to me because it had only been like a year or even I don't even think that it was 2 years since I had turned 18, you know, that I had to like come out. Like at that point I didn't know who I was like fully yet, you know? And so it was just like a really difficult conversation for me to have, to be like, when I don't even like fully grasp or understand who I am, to like explain it to my family, you know?
Yeah,
And so I think back to that a lot because like I feel like if I were to even like have that like a few years later, like how it might be different, but at the same time, like forcing me to come out then helped me kind of like even more figure out who I was, because I was able to like stop hiding, and I was able to like shed that skin to really step into who I was, you know?
I like. I was always terrified of the that conversation too. I think like a lot of probably a lot of people can relate, but specifically I feel like Southern gay people,
Yeah.
queer people have it's a different level. Um, I was terrified of that conversation as well, and luckily I'm have very supportive family members, and it's fine. But just to be able to kind of break that seal with them was not easy. I remember like leading up to the phone call, I was like petrified
Yeah.
to like just have the conversation. Like I feel like I'm almost fortunate to like I'm forgetting like how it went down because it was so easy.
Yeah.
Um, and but I told my sister first. I do know that because she could give a shit, to be honest. Like she's the biggest ally I probably know. I told her first, and she's like, "We have been new. Um, we've known." And then mom was next, and then dad, but they all knew.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's like what I'm saying, like what I feel like too. Like my my family, my friends, the people that I grew up with, they had to have known.
oh
You
yeah,
know, like I was not the most straight masculine like person out there. You know, like growing up in school, like kids would call me gay, like people would tell me that like I would make a pretty girl, like all of this stuff, like, you know, just like bullying
Jesus,
me, but also
sure.
like they weren't wrong. Like I knew that I was
I know I'm gay. I know
right.
I would be a pretty girl.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
so it's just, they just didn't want to face it. They didn't want to believe
Oh,
or
totally.
even think that, you know, they just pushed it. They were probably just as uncomfortable as me when I would hear the
Yeah,
word gay on TV.
and probably even understanding how to help you
Yeah.
at some capacity. Like, not necessarily like getting rid of it, but just like, okay, well, if this is him, like, how do we help him? Like, how do we, because I like to. Obviously, this is not the case for a lot of queer people, but parents are trying to do the best they can
Yeah.
most of the time, I feel. But and it's not the case all the time, trust me. I know many horror stories, but um I don't know. Sometimes I feel like in a southern household it's like, okay, this if this is it, then like what do we do? Like how do we help? Like they're scared for you and daily life and the processes that happen with queer people and the like whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, it's just love me. Just help,
Yeah.
just let me be me. Just like leave me
Right.
alone. It's like it's not a big freaking deal.
Right.
You're tied up with like beliefs and everything, and it's just like not it.
I think for me too, like
Alleviate yourself.
a lot of what I was hearing when I came out was, oh, like you've changed, like, and it's like,
Yeah, no
no,
shit.
like I've actually not. Like I'm still the same person that I've always been because I've literally been battling with this for years. Like the only thing that's changed is that you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you're the person that has changed because you're the person reacting to it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. I can also agree with, yeah, I have changed.
Yeah.
I'm finally able to be myself.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
true.
have to conform to what makes you comfortable anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway. Um,
well,
well,
we're both doing a lot better in life.
are we?
I'm all right.
I'm okay some days.
I saw this TikTok video the other day,
Oh no.
and I have not cried, laughed in probably almost 10 years. Like, it's been a while. I see a lot of funny shit. I watch a lot of comedy. I've heard it all. And this was just a fart video on a TikTok that
Oh.
was like 5 seconds long. Girl.
Okay, so we
So
talked
funny.
earlier about crying. I do cry when I laugh sometimes.
I love a good cry laugh.
It can be
That's my
so
favorite
good.
thing in the world.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the world is just to fully, like, uncontrollably laugh to where I'm crying but can't stop, and someone else is there with me and we're in on the same stupid moment, and it's so much fun. I love that.
I feel like we've had a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, I think that's why we're friends, because
Yeah.
most of our uh times together, like the beginning times, was very that just stupid ass moments. Us
Well, you
just,
guys, our listeners know because they watch and listen. So they know that a lot of stupidity happens.
oh yeah, logic gone, brain cells loose,
I really do
very
think
that.
I used to be so smart. I was like a straight A student. I don't know where it
I've
went.
done the reverse somehow.
I definitely have. But then now I also think too, when I look back and I'm comparing myself to like people here in Nashville, and I came from Kentucky. I have a Kentucky education. So what do people
Sure.
expect? You have
Not
a
much.
Eastern Tennessee education.
Not much.
Not much. It's Appalachia.
And you know what? I want to finish this story, but this random thought popped in my head. There are a lot of people in this country who don't know how to say that word.
Okay, what other ways do people say it?
Oh my God. They, I say Appalachia too, right?
Yeah, because that is how it's
There was
spelled.
Appalachia,
That sounds like it's like a skin disease or something.
period. It's the next yeah, it is. It's the next coming of Christ. Hills have eyes 3. The plague. Actually, the plague didn't happen when Christ came.
No, that's going to be the next Stranger Things. Or
Definitely.
no, I was actually
We should
meaning
see
this.
what I mean. Logic gone.
I was
Forget
meaning the
everything.
Strangers. The Strangers. It's going to be
No, we're
the
not
next
doing that.
Strangers chapter
We're
2.
not doing that. I was I'm gonna finish our original story, but I was in the movie theater the other day just watching a new movie that was coming out, and I was just an unsuspecting viewer, and Strangers 2 whatever
Chapter
commercial
1.
came on, and I was not ready. I fucking hate that thing.
I know you do. We've already talked
I
about it. We
refuse to
don't
talk
need to
about it.
revisit it. We don't need to revisit it.
It's the worst.
Yeah, you are. So let's
Anyway,
wrap up this Pride episode. I know that you went to WeHo last night. Do you have any other Pride plans?
yes, my partner's throwing a big Pride event here in a week or two on the 16th, whenever that falls. It might be when this episode comes out. Who knows? Um, the rate we go.
True.
Um, no, we're gonna do that. It's right on Father's Day, for the gays, all branding in the world. Um, and other than that, I'm just kind of like whatever comes,
It's
we're
going to
gonna
be
go
gay.
to. Yeah.
Whatever you do, it's going to be gay.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
like you could like go to McDonald's during for June and it's gay.
so basically, what I'm saying,
Sure.
where we're going with this is that
Oh,
yes, June is Pride Month, but you can still have pride in yourself all year long.
all year long.
I felt
Be
that.
who you are.
I felt that. Okay, that reminds me though too.
Happy Gay Month.
I had I used to be in a band, a worship band. Did you know that?
No,
Yeah, I did.
you may have
But
told me. I
we
don't
would
remember.
like practice and rehearse, and there were a few songs that were not like Christian related or anything, but we would like sing them and like just to
Sure.
practice and jam. And one of those songs was "Who You Are" by Jessie J. Have you ever heard that?
I think so. It's really funny that you were singing Jessie J at the Rural Kentucky uh, Praise and Worship Seminar.
I mean, no, it was just band practice, but still, like that song meant so much to me because it was like the lyrics are literally like it's okay to be who you are.
Oh, it's gay as fuck.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
I literally was like just I feel like the people in the band with me like had to have known that I was dealing with something at that time because like I would get into it.
They plucked that song just for you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Actually, fun fact, I met Jessie J one time. Happy Pride Month.
P R
You can stop there.
I
P. Wait, how do you do P? And this was a P, right?
I don't know sign
R
language.
I D E.
Oh, that's cute.
What did you get a tattoo of?
A masked cowboy.
Can I see it?
If I can. Oh God.
Throw your leg up there like a cheerleader. Pride. That's Matthew's leg. OMG.
He has something to say.
That is cute. How are you
Giddy up,
doing?
y'all. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride Month.
I've named him. Do you want to know his name?
Let's talk about it, actually. Yeah,
Do you
what's
want to
his
know his
name?
name?
Yeah.
Ed the Head.
Oh. So thank you so much for watching this special episode of Truckstop Boyfriend for Pride Month. Um, Here we recognize that a lot of our listeners are, not a part of the community, but some are. And, this episode is, a selfish endeavor to tell our stories as queer people in this world. And we're very happy to bring everybody along with us and, appreciate everybody who listened and all of our allies. But, I do agree that you should do more work. So that means that you need to share this Instagram post. You need to tell your people about our podcast. You need to subscribe to our YouTube and support small queer art.
And it's
And
okay to be Target or a big corporation and sell Pride merch because we want to see it. Because that's for some people, that's all that they have.
so download my new single
It's going to be
on
called
iTunes coming next month
it's called Gay Preaching.
for July, not Pride Month, I'm going to put it out on July 4th for Independence Day.
Let freedom ring.